Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Midgard Golf. And we're back out here today for the back nine here, the conclusion of my best round so far out here at my home course. So glad that I got it on camera, especially walking the course. That's nice. You know, I tend to play a little better when I walk, I'm finding. So, I'm doing that more and more. So that's a thing. You might see some kind of clips more like this with the camera sort of staring down the pipe of my push cart and looking at the back of my Joker club head cover there. But anyway, so yeah, love this course. I mean, yeah, you got to be able to miss it in both directions, all over the place, nice and tight in places, wide at places, allows you to attack, allows you to, poses you some holes where you have to defend. Just a great track to come out here and, kind of put your game to the test. So, yeah, anyway, we appreciate you showing up for the witnessing of this back nine here. And if you're liking this content, we would love it if you threw us a like on the video and a subscribe on the channel. We just crossed over 300 subscribers, did the hat giveaway a couple weeks ago there, but I'm going to be giving away more hats every 100 subscribers until we hit 1,000. And then at 1,000, I'm going to up the ante to some other article of clothing, no doubt, like vests or rain jackets, something like that. Haven't really decided yet what I want to do, but it will be something cool and it will be quality stuff. I guarantee that. And then once we hit 10,000, then I'm thinking about giving away golf bags thereafter. And then, if the channel ever gets popular enough to where we hit 100,000, then I'm going to have to think of something really cool, like maybe like all expenses paid golf trips or something for you guys out there, because that would just be amazing. So anyway, we love giving stuff away on this channel. So yeah, throw us a subscribe and, be in the running for just more and more stuff. But anyway, so this 10th hole here, pretty tricky, but it doesn't have to be. It can be. You can make it that way if you want. So, the smart play here, and for me, I'm just playing the whites today, so 312 yards for me, tipping out at 412 from all the way back there. But, so 100-yard difference between the tips and my tee box. But, it is what it is. And I think that's actually where I'm standing right here, right now, with while I'm waiting for the group in front of me to tee off. But either way, it's kind of a tight tee shot, really, here. And if you're playing from any of the forward tees, the blues, the whites, the actual forwards, the greens there, you will be tempted to go for this green. I've seen many a person do it. I've never actually attempted it myself, just because, I've played this hole enough times to where I know that there is no bailout if you go straight for the green off the tee box. There's no bailout when you do go for the green on your second shot. On your second shot, it'll likely be a wedge or something like that. As long as you just go for that fairway that's right out in front of you, that nice, big, wide, inviting fairway, and just chip one out there. You're probably going to have, if you happen to draw it and pull it over to the left side of that fairway, okay, you're going to have about 200 yards or so to get up on this green. No reason to go over there, though. If you do hit it kind of at that bunker or to the right of the bunker, that's right there that you're staring directly at. That's kind of to the left side of the fairway as you make the turn to go to the green up and to the right there. But right in front of you on the tee box, you're going to have 160 to 140 yards, depending on where you end up, to get yourself up onto the green. So fairly easy shot, I would say. Right, and then you've got some room to bail out to the left. But going for it in one, although a big hitter could do it, even a modestly big hitter could do it per the yardage, you really just, you don't want to. I've never ever seen someone actually pull it off, and I've played with some good sticks out here, and they always end up screwing it up. So there's going to be plenty of holes coming up here on the back nine to give you that pucker factor of that risk-reward shot. My advice to you, don't make this one of them. So anyway, when you are approaching the green, you've got those couple of bunkers over there off to the left and the back of the green, and that's about it. You've got a little bit of kind of backboard support to the back and left of the green as well. You definitely don't want to miss right anywhere on this hole, so I would refrain from that. Yeah, don't carve one out there. Yeah, other than that, should be a pretty simple hole. I mean, you could wedge it from the whites, which is what I'm playing today. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've got in hand, though. I'm pulling a 9-iron. So, yeah, just trying to pop one right out there and set myself up in a good position somewhere to the right of that bunker, directly out in front of me here, to get up on that green. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 11th hole here. One of the easier par fours, I would say, on the back nine. And yeah, boy, like I said before, on the last hole there, we've got some butt pucker ones coming up, that's for sure. But anyway, yeah, this one, it's just a straight shot. I mean, it's just, straight down the fairway. And the further back you play, the more straight it becomes, really. And yeah, I mean, it's tee to green. Right, so got a couple of bunkers there, right about halfway through the fairway. One left, one right, as you can see. I really wouldn't want to end up in either of them. Yeah, just because you're going to have a distance which is going to be really tough to get GIR. It's probably going to cost you a stroke. Unless you kind of over tag one and hopefully you guess the yardage right. They say from a fairway bunker, 2 clubs up is the kind of the rule of thumb. So hopefully strike one clean and get up on that green anyway if you happen to end up in one of those. But I would just try to avoid those if I was you anyway. Yeah, but where those bunkers are, the fairway narrows up quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to play this hole ultra safe, then you could iron it to death and just kind of pop like a 5-iron or something out there and stay short of those bunkers in the fairway. And then from there, kind of have sort of a mid-iron, maybe a long iron to get up on the green. But yeah, I just don't see any reason for that. The only thing you really don't want to do here is carve one. You don't want to end up to the right anywhere because all of that native stuff off to the right is just death for your ball. I mean, you're never going to find it there. That's a goner. So if you miss left, however, I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to snap hook it into somebody's living room in any of those houses over there. But you've got a fair amount of sideboard support that's helping you out to sort of keep your ball in play, or at least out of someone's living room or kitchen, whatever happens to be at the back of their house there. But yeah, so you've got that, and then it's a lot more friendly over there so far as the ground is concerned. Of course, you do have more tree trouble on the left. However, much better probability that your ball will be safe, findable, and, well, hittable. So that's what I would say. If you can pull off a draw, definitely do that. If fade's all you got in the bag, then I would take the cart path line and cut it off that and let it fade back in the fairway from there. Yeah, once you're making your way up to the green, it's kind of an amphitheater green. Kind of, sort of, anyway. You got another couple of bunkers, one left, one right. And then, yeah, kind of some green space right behind the hole to play with. But that's mostly just to keep your ball out of traffic. So hopefully you don't have to leverage that space back there because it's kind of a tough shot to come back onto this back to front green from back there, but not undoable. So if you do happen to go long, that's kind of okay. And I will say that, like, more than half the time I come up on this fairway, and I always forget when I hit one up here, because if you really pound one down there and go for it with driver, then, I mean, you're going to have a short wedge in, but the ground tends to be kind of soft about 3/4 of the way down this fairway. So if you nuke one all the way down there and you're thinking, oh, okay, I got this yardage, no problem. I mean, just be forewarned that there's a good chance that the ground is going to be softer than you think, softer than it has been on the rest of the course prior, except for maybe the middle of number 9. And yeah, it's gonna suck your club into the ground instead of bouncing off of it how you've been used to for most of the day. So I would probably take a little extra heat, maybe not an extra club, but a more fuller swing on the club that you've got in order to make the yardage to put it up on that green. So anyway, with that, I got the driver in hand, looking to pull off that draw, like I said. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to number 12 in the first par 5 of our back 9 here at Pine Creek Golf Club. So playing for me at just an even cool 500 yards and tipping out at 555. So fairly healthy par 5 that we've got here, but not necessarily a 3-shotter. So, yeah, the further back that you go, if you're going all the way back to the tips there, the straighter that the hole goes, and the less of a shape you really have to put on the ball, or the less of a blind shot you have up onto this fairway. Yeah, kind of, choose which one you'd like to think about more, I guess. So the further up you play until you reach all the way up to the forward tees, kind of the more of either, well, you have to make a decision, let's put it that way. Either you're laying up right at the bunker that you can see right out in front of you, and definitely if you do that, you're making this a 3-piece hole, because I highly, highly doubt that you're getting home in 2 from that position. Or you'll see a tree over there kind of right at the beginning of the fairway, but off to the left of the fairway from how you're looking at it, right? And, well, off to the left side of the fairway anyway, but to the right of the cart path. So if you take it right over that tree, or maybe even a little bit left of that tree. And although it's going to look like, oh gosh, what am I doing? I'm just hitting into the abyss here, and for all I know, it's just out of bounds that way. Well, look at the map there, right? So, and you're about to watch my drive, especially if you're playing from forward up there of the whites, and you're still kind of a big hitter like me. Then yeah, I mean, you can get the ball a pretty healthy ways down there and put yourself like 160 on up into this green. So you're about to watch me demonstrate how that's done right now. A little foreshadowing for you. But anyway, so you can cut that corner, and if you're going to cut that corner, make sure you cut it hard and hit it, safely over there off to the left, because if you flirt with it and you hit it anywhere towards that fairway, and it looks like it's going to where your ball can see it, and you're a big enough driver to even think about cutting that corner, well, you're probably going all the way through the fairway on that vector, and you're going to end up out of bounds on that right side of the fairway. That leads you up to the green anyway, and that stuff is absolutely filthy nasty. And yeah, you're not going to find your ball if you get up into that deep stuff. That's for sure. That's definitely a goner. So if you're going to attempt the corner cut with a straight shot, definitely go to the left of that kind of tallest pine tree. Like bushy pine tree that you can see just as the fairway begins. That's absolutely the line that you want to take. If you're going to play a draw and you've got a dependable draw, then I would go at probably the left side of the bunker that you can see out in front of you there, and then pull it over from there. If you got a fade, then just take that left line. You're fine. Right? If a fade is what you play, you haven't hit a draw in your life, and you're just like, oh man, what am I going to do here? Yeah, just take that left line, hit your cut, you'll be fine. Right? Just make sure that you give yourself a healthy amount of room off to the left, even though it'll be feeling like you're just aiming straight out of bounds. Right? Trust me, you're aiming on a good line. And if you happen to catch one and it just goes on a frozen rope straight, well, you're going to be happy about that too, because then you're going to end up cutting a lot of distance off of this hole. And yeah, set yourself up again in a good position to try to get home in two. Once you are making your way up to the green there, you've got one more fairway bunker off to the left side of the fairway. That's about, I want to say about 80 yards or so short of the green. Yeah, no reason to be flirting with that bunker. The only reason that you would is if you played the layup shot, and then that bunker would definitely be in play for your second shot, and that would be unfortunate. Another reason why I always go for the corner cut on this hole, just because it takes that second bunker pretty much out of play completely. And then you've got one more bunker up there off to the left side of the green. And then, yeah, that's about it. So, kind of a amoebic little green there, back to front, kind of like a subtle two-tier sort of green. So, yeah, if the pin is up front, well, you know what? It's really not that drastic, no matter where you go. So just strike this green wherever you can, especially if you're going for it in two. Yeah, you'll have a fair shot at eagle no matter where you go. So it's definitely back to front, though. So if you like just kind of giving it a light touch and letting it trundle out, then do that. But there's enough space at the front of the green to where even if you overstrike it just a little bit, it'll probably stop before you roll it all the way off and back into the fairway, unless you absolutely hammer one for no good reason. But if you're putting from back to front, that is. So anyway, there's my synopsis on the hole and what you should do. So I got the driver in hand, and I'm taking that left line like I mentioned. Let's see if I can pound it down there and give myself a good opportunity to get on this green in two. Let's check it out. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 13th hole in our first par 3 of this back nine out here at Pine Creek Golf Club. So, tipping out at 200 yards and playing for me at just a cozy 165 today. Yeah, pretty chill indeed. So, I usually play the blues on this course, but just because I was kind of testing the Trek Lawn camera, which I mentioned in the last video in part 1 that I would not buy. If you see ads for that and you're like, oh, maybe I could check that out, 100 and some odd bucks for a cool, sort of GoPro looking camera. Yeah, repent. Don't do it. Yeah, not a great camera. Anyway, I'm not impressed. But anyhow, and if you want to know why, go back and watch part 1 there, and I really break it down as to why. But yeah, so it is what it is. But anyway, because I was testing the camera, I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this course even easier than I usually play it, which is usually from the blues. But yeah, so I'm usually over there just across the gully, and from the blues or from the tips, you've got a bunch of forced carry. It's pretty much you, a tee box in the green, and that's all you got. And if you miss kind of to the right, then you could have a little bit of reprieve up in the fairway there, or that collection of 4 bunkers there to kind of the upper right side of the green. Which is fine. I think I've been in every one of those bunkers at one point or another and got out of them just fine. So, I mean, it's no fun hitting a bunker shot down to a green which slopes downhill towards the native fescue down below there. Yeah, but I mean, if you're decent out of the bunker, and you know how to pop one up a little bit, you should be just fine. So, but from the whites or the forward tees there, I mean, not a big deal. You've got barely any force clearance at all. It is what it is. You've got some fairway and some green. In either event, no matter where you're hitting from, definitely the good miss on this hole is obviously to the right. Just because, well, if you miss left, you're in that just crap over there. And, well, don't nobody want to be over there in that stuff. So, yeah, if you can pull off a cut, do it. If you've got nothing but a draw in the bag, then I would aim at that collection of bunkers over there and then pull it over from there. I mean, what you see is what you get. So, with that, I mean, it's only playing for me at, 165 today. And actually, I think it was playing even a little bit shorter than that by the GPS, from being honest, for where they had the tee box lined up this day. So, I think it was playing more like 145. So I've got the gap wedge in hand. Yeah, that's my point. So yeah, that being said, let's try to send it up there. See if I can't pull off just a tiny bit of a cut. And cuts really haven't been my specialty as of late. It's been more to the draw side for my misses right now. You know me, I kind of go back and forth. So really, I'm just kind of aiming over there off to the right, kind of sending it over that close bunker if I can to put it up on the green there. And if it draws over a little bit, hopefully it draws up pretty, and I put it on the green. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 14th hole. One of my favorite head scratchers on this entire golf course here. Really cool hole. So I got a lot of lines drawn over there on the map, and I'm going to explain them all here. There. So the gold ones, it's kind of the darker yellowish ones. There's the closest color I could find to gold. That's the color of the tips out here. So the hole tipping out at 417 yards actually goes all the way back to that one you can see pretty much at the bottom of the map towards the right hand corner. Yeah, but they don't always have that tee box open. A lot of times the tips actually play from where the second gold line is going, kind of right there next to the blue line. And then you've got the blues in front of that, the whites in front of that, and then the greens, that's the forward tees. So the safe play on this hole is just to play right out into that fairway right in front of you. Nothing wrong with doing that. Excuse me. And you'll have a nice, comfortable sort of mid-iron shot up onto the screen. Too easy, right? If you are going that way and you're just kind of pumping out into the fairway that you can see right out in front of you there, if you're a big hitter and you're playing it from forward a little bit, it's not going to be driver for you. If you do pull that D stick, you're likely going over everything, and you're going to be up there in that kind of backyard of whatever that building is up there, beyond the hole. So would not recommend if that's the line that you're taking. However, that bright yellow line there, right? And I've seen it done from the tips too on this hole. So yeah, because the further back you go, the more elevation advantage that you have. So while the yardage is, more and more, of course, as you go further back, yeah, you also get a little more altitude on the hole there. Yeah, so going right over that kind of big old sort of native pit there, and just attacking that section of the fairway that's way down the hole after it doglegs to the left. Yeah, I do it routinely. That's my line that I like to take there, and I've seen it done by others many a times too. So yeah, highly recommended to get up in that direction. Another good place to aim if you're hitting a draw, like is what I'm trying to do this day, is to kind of go right at that bunker that's right in front of you there. Just at the dog leg, and yeah, you'll see some twin trees kind of behind that. Yeah, it's a great aiming window to pick a draw line from. If you're hitting a fade, then, well, obviously there's nothing preventing you from doing that. If you hit a big old power fade, then yeah, just take it over the the far left line there, and then let it come back over from there. You can see up on the map there, you've got kind of an outcropping of fairway that will catch your ball if you come up just short of kind of, making it to that upper sort of echelon or upper partition of green there after the dog leg. But you still get it past that native sort of trap down there. Even if you do get in that native sort of, incropping there into the hole, it's really not that bad. You'll probably still find your ball and it'll probably still be playable. It's not going to be the most comfortable shot for you. Definitely be kind of a, uphill popper for you, but you're not necessarily dead if you end up in that stuff. Let's see here. Apart from that, if you really want to get risky, I have seen it done twice, right, by two other people, not me. I've attempted it before, getting squirrely, but I have seen this hole driven in one from the blues twice, right? So I've done it several times. I know I've made the distance, but as a matter of fact, it was exactly 3 times that I've tried to make this green in one shot. And all 3 times that I knew I was just hitting really good that day. Those 3 days with driver, and I was like, I got this today. I knew my line was right on the green. I know where it is. I can see it, right? And be like, yeah, I got to be putting for eagle. Go up there, ball's nowhere to be found. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a curse for me, but whatever the case, I've never had success with that. So I always just go for kind of the secondary risk shot over that sort of native incropping there, and put myself, a flip wedge distance on into the green. That's what I always go for. And I've never really had any problems with that, so long as I hit a decently good drive out there. Let's see here. Once you do get up to the green, you've got a collection of 3 bunkers. From the perspective that you'll be looking at the green, it'll be 1 front right, 1 front left, and 1 kind of pot bunker to the back. And then, yeah, some pretty heavy trees to the front left there, and a couple more that are wide, kind of out of play off to the right, and that's really all you got to worry about. So I got the driver in hand, looking for that draw. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to big number 15. And the second and final par 5 of our round out here today at Pine Creek. So yeah, tipping out at 568 yards, playing for me at just 459. So yeah, from the whites or from the blues, really. I mean, the blues are only 491. Yeah, looking at the map, I don't even think I have the actual tips on the map here. I think that's actually playing from across the river. But yeah, you know what? I don't ever think I've seen that tee box open. That they might be closing that up. I could be wrong. I could be misrepresenting right now. But if you're playing from back there at 568 for this beast of a par 5, oh, God bless you, my son. Because, I mean, you have no room for error at all on this hole here. I mean, looking out here from the tee box, you'll see that, yeah, you've got a fairly inviting fairway right in front of you, but that runs out real quick and becomes an absolute hotel hallway for basically the entire rest of the fairway. It doesn't open up again until the dog leg, yeah, like 3/4 of the way through the hole. So, and I don't know anybody who could drive the ball all the way down to the dog leg on this. That's just, yeah, Titanic. I mean, maybe Kyle Berkshire on his best day could do it from the tips. But, yeah, for most of us, yeah, I don't know anybody who could make that happen. So, and especially with the precision that it will require you to do it in. So, yeah, I mean, it's just gnarly. So, the easiest way to play this hole, because you can make this hole easy if you just want to concede that it's going to be a 3-piece hole to get up on this green and just play it accordingly. I mean, you could hit something like a 7-iron, maybe a 6-iron, you know, whatever you're absolutely comfortable with, just poking it out there and kind of getting in the initial sort of wide, I hesitate to say wide, but it's the wider part of the fairway right in front of you there. And then from there, probably taking the same club again, maybe even one club stronger in order to get you all the way down to the dog leg, at which point you're going to have about 120 yards or so to get the rest of the way onto the green, which will be a downhill shot, playing a little less for you after the dog leg, so it should be a pretty easy one for that third one. Or what you could do is you could take driver and Yeah, just pump it down there, and it's pretty much a mandatory draw. Because the hole, I mean, you've got plenty of sideboard support off to the left, right? So I've missed pretty badly off to the left there and still been just fine. Yeah, I mean, if you draw hard enough into that hill, it's steep enough to where it could ricochet you all the way back down into the fairway, which is cool, and it's happened to me before on this hole too, so that's nice. And then, you'll be in prime position to try to get on the green in two. Where I've got the yellow elbow drawn on the fairway there, that's usually where I'm going if I'm kind of, getting squirrely, and I'm going for that driver play, just to make darn sure that I am, gonna keep my ball in play. Like I said, mandatory left side miss here. Right side miss, you're dead. That ball's gone. don't even second guess. It's toast. But yeah, you definitely want to get to about there. And if you can see that tree just to the right of where I drew the kind of second shot elbow on the yellow lines there, that's really where you want to make it to in order to have a clear shot to get on this green in two. If you come up short of that, then that big tree there will likely be in your way and force you to play a little wedge shot up to the elbow anyway in order to make this a three-piecer again. So you really got to clear that tree in order to give yourself a nice clear line to get up on that green, because it's probably going to be still anywhere from 180 to 210 yards out in order to green it into. And you'll be attacking a green where you can pretty much miss nowhere but short and left from the angle that you'll be attacking it from there. And then short left is also that little pot bunker there right next to the green. So unfortunate if you happen to end up in that, but at least you'll be greenside for what's hopefully going to be your third shot. Apart from that, you've got a couple of fairway bunkers, as you can see there at the turn. Fun fact, I came up short right next to that tree and kind of forced me to play that little layup shot I was talking about earlier. Ended up right in next to that second bunker, like right before you would get to the green side bunker there, and hold it out from there. The one time that I eagled this hole many, many moons ago. But anyway, so I like to revisit that moment when I'm on this hole because it was awesome. But yeah, haven't done anything of the sort since. So, and it's certainly not going to happen today. Little foreshadowing for you. But anyway, so I got the driver in hand, looking for that left side miss because that's the only place you can miss to and have any chance to stay safe. So anyway, been driving the ball good and I'm feeling squirrely. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 16th hole. Made it to the stretch and the final par 3 of our day out here at Pine Creek. So, pretty cool par 3 indeed. I love this hole. I just think it's gorgeous myself. So, obviously, you got some force carry there. Yeah, the lake on the right is, I mean, by and large out of play. But that lake on the left is very much so in play, that's for sure. So, I mean, yeah, you can't miss left here. The only way that you can miss is really kind of lateral right or short right. Somewhere off to the right you can miss. Of course, long you've got that house right there behind there, so you don't want to put it in that poor person's living room. So anyway, I wouldn't go for the long shot here just to make sure that you clear distance. Just because, well, if you hit that super clean and end up too long, then that's exactly where you're going to be, in their living room. So, unfortunate. But anyway, for yardage here, hole plays all the way out to 213 at the tips, but for me, just 134 yards today, so pretty chilling. But, yeah, I mean, what you see is what you get, right? You got a bunker kind of short left. You'd be happy that's there if you end up in it, because without it, you would probably be trundling on down into the lake. And then you've got that other bunker short right, which if you hit that bunker, well, it's probably because you mishit whatever club that you pulled out for the yardage, and you did the right thing and took a line to miss to the right anyway. So, yeah, I mean, both of them fairly friendly bunkers, not all that difficult to get out of, so really wouldn't worry about it. So, anyway, yeah, at this yardage here, well, the wind was kind of howling right into us, so I actually have I believe I took the gap wedge out for this shot here. Yeah, that's right. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 17th hole. Yeah, definite risk-reward hole here. I mean, not really gettable from really anywhere here. I mean, 422 from the tips and, yeah, 351 from the whites, 395 from the middle tees there from the blues. But, yeah, I mean, it plays uphill the entire way, so playing quite a bit more lengthy than that. Yeah, I mean, I love this hole some days, and some days I hate this hole because, I mean, that yellow line there is always the line that you want, especially if you're any flavor of a big hitter. But to do that, I mean, it's a lot of force carry, right? I mean, you're looking at pretty much for, what is that? That's probably a 320 yard, 330 yard drive, which you're about to see demonstrated here. But, I mean, many a times have I gone for that and missed it and come up short into that bunker there off to the left side of the fairway. Or, you know, tried to swing at it too hard, end up carving it over into the bunkers off to the right. I mean, or you know, you flip it over too hard and then you're off into some weird sort of native fescue stuff over there off to the far left. I've never hit anybody's house over there, thank goodness, but yeah, I've had a couple of scares over there. But anyway, I mean that's where you want to put your ball if you're going to pull driver here, and you tend to be a kind of anywhere between a 280 to 310 carry sort of guy, right? You want to take that line if the big D stick is what you're pulling out of the bag. Apart from that, if you want to play the hole safe, you can certainly do that too and just pump it out there in the fairway right in front of you. If you're a big enough hitter, it's probably going to be a long iron for you. Maybe if you're playing from the tips, probably get away with a fairway wood or driving iron, something like that, to bring it to the elbow. But then, you're probably going to have an uphill 180-yard shot, all the way up to 200-yard shot to get up on this green. So, that sucks, right? To have that kind of yardage to get up on the green, especially playing uphill. So anyway, I usually go for the risk here, but it's bitten me a lot of times. And then sometimes, like you're about to see, it pays off. So anyway, especially if you're playing draws, right? Since it's a dogleg left. So anyway, I am just trying to kind of hit a floaty drive out there, right? Just because, well, as you saw in the last hole, I pulled that drive way too hard. And if I kind of float one out there, then I can keep it marginally still long anyway, right? It's just by raw sort of catapult effects. So that's what I'm looking to do. Anyway, so for bunker trouble here, obviously I talked about that bunker off to the left that I hate. And then the only bunker that I hate more than that is the one over there off to the right, the second one off to the right in the middle of the fairway there. I've never been in that other bunker off to the far right, but that's so far off to the right that, boy, unless you slice it out there, that's pretty out of play for the line that you should be on. So, I have greened it one time from that other bunker that I really hate, though, off to the right-hand side of the fairway. But, that's a tough shot to do it, that's for sure. Once you make your way up to the green, you've got those couple of bunkers off to the left, little pop bunker sort of deals, and that big old bunker off to the right. If I had to choose which one I'd rather be in, I'd probably say either of the ones on the left rather than that one on the right. I don't know what it is about that one on the right, but it seems to just be, maybe every time I get in it, it's just in an awkward position to get out of it. So there's that. Anyway, so, like I said, baby draw over that trap on the left side there. Try to give myself a nice, fairly close position to get up on this green in reg. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, how about that up and down, huh? You gotta love that. I was saying to the guys I was playing with on 17 there, when I kind of over chipped that one from the back of the green, I was like, well, at least I get to showcase the beautiful view of Pikes Peak now from the way that I'm going to set up the camera, and then to drain it like that to save par. Boy, you just gotta love that. But anyway, Onward to number 18 here. And again, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Midgard Golf with us here and listening to my rather in-depth synopsis of this course. And I've played it a ton of times, so I mean, pretty much every trick there is to know on this course, I know it. And every risk that can be taken, I've taken it. And, well, some can pay off for you fairly easily and some can't. And hopefully I mentioned all of those for you if you're looking to come out here and play Pine Creek. But, yeah, anyway, this last hole, beautiful finishing hole. I just love it. I mean, tipping out at 407 and playing from Aegis today at 328. Absolutely drivable. And the blues would have been 349, how I usually play it. But playing downhill the whole way, so a lot shorter than that actually. Definitely drivable. Yeah, many moons ago when I actually used to carry fairway woods, which I don't at the moment. But anyway, when I did, I've actually driven this green before with a 3-wood from the whites. So, yeah, it can certainly be done. I'm living proof of it, that's for sure. But if you are going all the way down there towards the green tier, again, you're definitely going to want to miss to the left. If you miss to the right, I mean, the entire hole goes downhill, but it also kind of cants off to the right as well. And there's this nice big old tall bush native stuff on down there that, I mean, if you get in that stuff, I mean, you're going to be bivouacking. I hope you brought your machete to go find your ball in that stuff. It's nasty. I mean, you can find your ball in there. It's not going to be hittable, but you can do it. But yeah, you're going to be searching for a minute in order to find it. So anyway, there's that. Safe way to play this hole. If you're just not hitting driver all that good, you should know how you're playing driver or whatever long club you would go for the green or down at least to the green tier with on this day, or whatever day you play it. If you're going to lay up, that's just fine. It's the thickest part of the fairway anyway up there. And then, yeah, you're going to have a downhill shot at the green. Because once you get all the way down there, if you don't drive the green, it's going to be an uphill shot at the green. And you're going to have to kind of skyjack one and then drop it down, you know, at a really steep descent angle in order to stab the green. Whereas, if you lay up, there is actually some merit to that. Because while it will be a nominally longer shot, yeah, it's going to be downhill, so it's going to play less long than you would think, right? Than your GPS or whatever is, or your laser rangefinder, whatever you got, is going to be showing you, and you're going to have the altitude on the pin. So no matter which way you decide to go, it's a good move, whether you want to lay up or you want to go for it. So the only things that suck is ending up in either of those fairway bunkers that you can see right there where the hole narrows up, or where the fairway narrows up, I should say. Once you make your way up to the green, of course, you've got that arsenal of bunkers surrounding the green. Was that 3 on the left and then 2 on the right, with that big old one being up over there on the right? You know, I think the only one that I've ever been in is that one kind of on the front left there. And that was from another occasion that I attempted to drive the green, and I just came up a little short, so I was hitting 2 out of there. So I was happy about that anyway, because I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll take a bunker shot for my GIR attempt, greenside bunker shot, and that's the only time I've ever been in that bunker. But yeah, I've never actually played from any of the rest of them because I've never been in them, so I don't know really how they all play. But yeah. I probably wouldn't want to be in those ones on the back just because it is kind of a steep back to front green. So if you were flying a ball out of those bunkers that are elevated to begin with, unless somehow you got a pretty good amount of spin on your ball coming out of those bunkers, pretty good chance that you are putting it right off the front of the green. Or even worse yet, into another bunker, like that front left one you can see down there. So anyway, yeah, what am I doing? I'm taking the driver, and I'm just going to whoop it on down there. And if I miss, then miss left, because that's just the best place to miss. So anyway, apart from that, again, thanks again for watching. If you're liking this content, again, throw us a like and subscribe. We'd love to see you back. And yeah, I mean, Pops and I have just an absolutely epic trip planned this year. So going overseas, over the pond, to play some golf, some exotic golf over there. So I hope you guys join us for that and for all of the rounds into the future here. And actually, Jeremy and I just signed up for a tournament towards the end of this month at Arrowhead. So Jeremy will be back on the channel. So I just talked to him today about it. It's like, what do you think? Should we film it? I've already filmed Arrowhead a couple times. He's like, yeah, dude, let's film it. So I was like, cool. So you're going to see Jeremy back real soon here. But until then, and as always, I hope that you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. See you next time.